Now we kill him.
Arena.
It was put out by some outfit called Empire Films, which I guess is really famous for putting out a bunch of low budget stuff. But to their credit, for '89 and all the special effects they used and things like that, it didn't look like absurdly low budget. It's not like the 1989 equivalent of the really poor CGI sci-fi films. This was actually, I could see kids watching this and being like, all right, this is credible. This is a badass film, And it had a lot going for it in that regard, because I think, as far as the market for like kids who are into Star Wars and shit and like want to see cheesy sci-fi with like alien monsters and shit like that, but also just see a bunch of action, like the idea of arena fighting, intergalactic arena fighting with like different alien species and shit like that, just going at each other, like blood sport, but Star Wars. Like that's a good idea, And I think they largely pulled it off. They played this whole thing up like the protagonist, who's a human, gets tapped to do this arena fighting. And I think in some way he's coerced to do it. But he ends up falling in love with his handler there or whatever. So I'm missing a part of the story. I don't know where the leverage was, where they made him actually get into the arena, and how she turned out to be okay. But in any case, they made a big deal of how a human can't handle it because, so many of the alien breeds have an advantage or whatever. And the first alien he fights is like this huge, like, mantis monster thing. Like, it's got like kind of like insect-like limbs, but, a large slug-like body and spikes sticking out of it. So in that fight, you're thinking like, yeah, I can see how a human would have a real disadvantage fighting like a 10-foot monster with, all these.
It was like a crab leg, I think.
Yeah. But it had all these like natural like weapons on it and things like that. But then for like the rest of the movie, to be fair, like for all they were playing up how difficult it is for a human to enter into this arena environment. Nonetheless, most everything he fought was just like a human with like tusks or some shit, like a human with some real distorted facial features and crap like that. So, that whole human as the underdog thing didn't really resonate that strongly in that case. But after he pulls through that first real narrow victory, then I guess it was like he was unstoppable enough to the point where when he's going to fight the champion, not only does some nefarious villain poison him beforehand, but also they use like some ray to like drain him of his strength when he's in the ring. So then like his old coach has to like go up into the rafters and beat a guy's ass and cause all his computer equipment to explode. He has to like hack the mainframe and like bring the whole system down. And then the guy gets his strength back and is like, all right. And then just starts whipping some ass because like, that's our hero, man. He's unstoppable.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.